Who can refuse a stress-relieving blizzard camping session during sleepless nights? She is the ultimate companion late at night, and watching her is guaranteed to send you blissfully into dreamland. Why not cross your left leg over your right and together enjoy the stress-relieving process? Today's protagonist is still the well-known Ah Bing. Having checked the weather forecast, she knew that a snowstorm was expected today, which would allow her to experience the charm of the snowy forest up close, just as she wished. Compared to the noisy, bustling urban life, Ah Bing prefers this closeness to nature. When she stepped into the forest, the depth of the snow was nearly above her knees. She carefully searched her box for a moisture-proof mat and immediately began clearing the thick snow from the ground, creating space for setting up her tent. This time, she brought a simple tent and cleverly planned to build a snow wall using the terrain around her. Thanks to the natural terrain, she only needed to use the landscape to secure the waterproof cloth to the soil, effectively shielding from the biting cold wind. Then she found branches to carefully clear out a space for resting, and afterwards used snow to tightly cover the surroundings of the waterproof cloth. In doing so, the cold wind found it hard to seep through. With the tent set up, it was time to orderly place the camping gear she brought along. Time quietly passed, and the air grew colder. Knowing she could not delay, Ah Bing hurriedly started a campfire. Taking advantage of the weather before it became completely uncontrollable, the roaring campfire was successfully lit, and her camping trip officially began. She will spend a fulfilling day in this place, brimming with the unique essence of winter. Ah Bing then went to a nearby creek and filled a kettle with clean water. The snow is falling particularly heavily today, allowing her to fully immerse herself in the pristine snowy landscape. At this moment, Ah Bing plans to make a cozy afternoon tea. She brewed a cup of instant morel mushroom soup for herself and toasted some bread to go with it. Although they aren't delicacies from mountains or seas, these foods are sufficient to replenish the energy Ah Bing needs. In this bitterly cold winter weather, bread dipped in hot soup tastes exceptionally wonderful. At this moment, the storm intensifies and the temperature drops sharply. Ah Bing has to rely on hot water. The moment he quickly changed his clothes, a warm current spread throughout his body, instantly making him feel incredibly warm. Next, Ah Bing dug a snow pit in the snowy ground. He used it as a natural refrigerator to store small drinks, and to enjoy a delicious roasted chicken tonight, he specifically shaved down a small light shield. Then, he skillfully skewered the whole chicken, set it over the campfire, and evenly sprinkled hinge salt and chili powder on it. Lastly, he carefully applied a layer of olive oil. While waiting for the chicken to roast, Ah Bing warmed himself up with a few sips of the small drinks. He also planned to bake some bread as the main dish, serving it with a rich curry mutton sauce. Though the cooking process was simple, the combination of Indian bread and curry is perfect, and with the heavy snow falling today, it added a touch of comfort. Finally, the roasted chicken was ready, and it was time to eat. Outdoors, with the snow swirling about, eating a hot, fragrant roasted chicken was an incredibly blissful experience. After dinner, Ah Bing carefully cleared the snow accumulated on the tent. At this point, the forest was pitch dark. He also prepared to rest, carefully laying out his down sleeping bag and pouring himself a steaming cup of black tea. Sure enough, the warmth in the sleeping bag was comforting, like a warm haven in this icy, snowy world. The next morning, the entire forest seemed to be covered with a thick white velvet blanket. The pristine beauty of the winter scene was overwhelming. Ah Bing crawled out of his warm sleeping bag, greeted by the chill of the outdoors. He quickly ignited the campfire, heated a pot of water, and then headed to the creek in the valley. After a simple wash, upon returning to the campsite, Ah Bing poured himself a hot cup of coffee. The heavy snow was still falling relentlessly, showing no signs of stopping. In such a forest, making a simple breakfast to replenish calories is undoubtedly a good choice. The water he had fetched from the stream earlier was running out. Ah Bing appropriately added some fresh snow. Once the water was hot, he prepared instant noodles to eat with refreshing radish kimchi. Although breakfast was simple and humble, it effectively replenished the energy needed by the body. After breakfast, Ah Bing methodically started packing his gear, ready to embark on the next leg of his journey.